Jordan, give me the countdown.
4, 3, 2.
Hey everybody, welcome on into the Big Access Podcast. My name is Brock Benson. I am your host, and today we have Jake Voll joining us. Jake is one of our distribution partners. Let's see, Jake, do you own SS&SI? Is that what it is? You're the owner there?
Yeah, that's right. I'm the owner and president of SS&SI. We're a security and low voltage products distributor.
That's awesome, and thank you so much for joining us today. I know that you've got a huge presence on LinkedIn, so all of these people who may follow us on LinkedIn, they I bet you they recognize you. I mean, you are very good at branding and marketing yourself and your company, and it's a big pleasure to have you on the podcast today to talk a little bit more about access control.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for having me, Brock. It's as I was saying earlier, you guys do such a great job with all the content that you deliver to your partners. It's really exciting to see a manufacturer getting such good quality content out there with regularity. So happy to be here.
Well, thank you. Why don't you go ahead and kind of kick this podcast off a little bit more about, tell us a little bit more about who Jake Voll is.
Sure. So I'm a second industry security professional. I grew up in a family alarm business, and my family's business did security and video and access control. And growing up, I had an opportunity to work in the family business, and ultimately decided that for me, B2B sales, really the distribution business would be my focus. I really enjoyed working with many other small to mid-sized security companies originally, and now some fairly large security companies that we support. I love the opportunity to build those relationships with our dealer partners, and so we now support just over 1,000 dealer partners nationwide. We ship from the Southeast, from Orlando and Huntsville, Alabama, but we've got a pretty geographically diverse footprint of dealers really all over the U.S.
That's really cool. So you're talking about how for you it's really important to make sure that you have a really positive relationship with your customers. Relationships are huge in this industry, right? And for our partners, what do you think is a good way for them to be able to help generate relationships with their end users?
Yeah, so it's one of the big things that we hear from our dealers when we ask them about what they do to market themselves is often that the best marketing for them is word of mouth, right? And even though we've leveraged social media through LinkedIn and Facebook to kind of create our own word of mouth amplification, I recognize the power in word of mouth marketing for our dealers, and so for us it was really important to support them in amplifying those efforts. And so we, a few years ago, started our branding program for those dealers. So when when somebody says, hey, who does your security or access control, they can point right to their PDK reader with their name on it. Just an extra way to kind of reinforce that brand name that they've worked so hard to build in their market.
Well, and that's one of the things that I was actually going to bring up that's really cool about you guys and about SS&SI is that you guys do have a full-on branding department within your distributor. So you guys can brand things like security cameras, like readers, and all sorts of other security peripheral devices that are out there. And that is a huge value for your customers because it allows them to help build that brand that you're talking about. So what made it so that you wanted to get into doing something as unique as branding it for your customers?
Yeah, sure. So, early on, I saw that there were some really big companies that were able to do branding for on their products. And, they had the buying power that they could negotiate with the manufacturers, and at the factory was putting their name on it. And I recognize that, those companies do it because it's valuable to them to reinforce their brand with their customers. And I realize that our dealers, right, maybe they're not the top dealers in the country, although we do support a number of the STM 100 dealers now. Many of our dealers are small to mid-sized companies. We saw doing the branding in-house as an opportunity for us to add value at the point of distribution for our dealers, and kind of give them the sense that they were important to us, that they were important, that their brand was important, and we've integrated it into our processes. So from the point that somebody purchases a PDK reader to the point that it goes out the door, oftentimes that happens the same day. we try to shoot for a 24-hour turnaround on that. But because we've integrated that into our facilities with redundancy here in Florida and Alabama, we're able to just kind of crank it out. And we have full-time dedicated graphic designers and print operators to do that. It's funny. I feel like once a dealer sees their name on whatever product it is that they're installing, whether it's an access reader or a camera or a security keypad, it's just a sense of pride, right? You open up the box and it's got your name right there. That's a special moment. I've had the opportunity to like show dealers their product right off the line, and you can just kind of see their face light up. It's pretty cool to see.
That is really cool. I mean, being there as a source of support for them to help them to grow their business is always it's a really special feeling. I mean, that's one of the things that we love to do is we love to see our partners be successful, and we love to be a resource to help them be successful. It's a great opportunity to help build business, build trust, and really succeed together. So as far as like access control goes, I guess before I go into, where you kind of see the industry heading, I guess what, in your opinion, does access control mean to you?
Yeah, so I mean, I think access control is about it's about security. It's also about convenience. As a business owner, access control for me is having the ability to quickly onboard a new employee and give them access to whatever parts of the facilities that they need access to in a schedule that makes sense. I think our dealers are finding that access control is more than just it's more than just access in and out of doors. It gives the ability to kind of have logging of when employees are in facilities and some accountability. I think probably now with all the I read an article recently with so many people working from home. This CEO of a big company asked all the employees to come back a certain number of days a week, and the article mentioned that he looked at the access control reports to see that the employees that he kind of called back to the office weren't swiping in as frequently as had been requested of them. So it's not just security now. I think it's some level of accountability as well, and being able to deliver to like a Fortune 500 CEO that level of accountability to where he can know, hey, when are my folks coming into the office? I think that's what access control is today. That's what it can be. But certainly, it's certainly security as well.
For sure. A couple of episodes ago, we had another guest on who had talked about access control, about how it's not just meant to keep the bad people out anymore. Now it's to have accountability. It's to keep people honest. It's to make sure that you are letting only a certain number of people inside of a specific doorway, or making it so that only authorized personnel can access the server room. And it makes it so that businesses actually are more productive because of access control. And so it was a very interesting listen. And so I completely agree with you there. Access control is so much more than just keeping the bad guys out. It's security, but it's also it's human resource management in ways as well. So, and from your perspective, you've got a different perspective on the access control industry than what I have. I'm here on the manufacturer side. We make all the hardware, all the software. We sell that then to distribution partners like yourself, and you guys sell that to our installation partners, who are the people listening to this podcast. But talk to me a little bit about, from your perspective, where do you see the access control industry headed?
Yeah, so we definitely seeing a shift from, for example, physical credentials now to like mobile credentials, and we're happy to see PDK supporting that. We're starting to see access control with more and more integrations. Excited to see the integrations that you guys have, not just from a security perspective, but even things like with property management platforms and tenant onboarding platforms. You guys have some pretty cool integrations that are out there. I love that you have, an open API to where you encourage people to integrate with it, because, when we talk about, hey, what's access control today, you and I may have a perspective of what access control is today, but these folks that are in other industries and specific verticals are saying, hey, like we could do really cool things if we could interface with the access control system. So it's really cool to see. I would say that the future of access control is deep integrations, right? And I love
Yes.
that you guys make that possible. And I think dealers will be really amazed to see what kind of integrations are kind of in the pipeline.
Yeah, and along those lines, I completely agree with you because, I mean, I just got off the phone with one of our dealers. I guess this was last week, who was talking to me about a gym that we're looking to do a case study on. And with this gym, it's a application where they originally had like 3 different softwares that were required in order to manage members, in order to manage the access control, in order to be able to assign cards. It was a really mundane task to be able to manage everything. But once they went in and they upgraded it all to the PDK system, they were able to use the third-party APIs to be able to use now a gym software that can be able to automatically enable or disable a user's account, whether they are up to date or if they're like delinquent on paying for their monthly membership that month. It'll go ahead and just deny them access right then and there. If they go ahead and create a new user, it will go in, create a new user in PDKO, issue them a mobile credential, and then they can use that phone to get right into the gym software. Or the gym software will then allow them to gain access to the building. So talking about the integration side of things, a lot of people think about integrations as, oh, my cameras are working with my access control, or hey, I have this video intercom system that works with it. It is so much more than that, right? I mean, we've got full-on integrations with Azure Active Directory, we've got integrations with gym softwares, we've got integrations with all sorts of different platforms that just work together to create a full turnkey solution that really helps making security management simple. And so I completely agree with you, where the future is not just necessarily keeping those bad guys out, but making a complete unified database and unified management of security.
Well, and absolutely. And the cool thing is the more deeply integrated you are with those integral systems, right? Like that gym, for example, once they integrate their software with PDK, they're not going to cancel, they're not going to cancel their PDK service with that integrator. It's you're too integral. You've made it too easy for them. You've provided more value than just the security. And I think that's what makes really long-term stable cash flows that dealers can expect from an integrated access control system.
Yeah, you're spot on there. I've got one more quick question for you too. So from a distribution standpoint, there's a lot of cloud-based systems out there that like to sell direct. And we are not one of those, right? We go and we sell through distribution. And, we see a lot of value in using the distribution model. But from a distributor yourselves, what kind of value do you guys feel that you provide installation partners?
Sure. Well, I mean, for us, it's all about providing service to our partners, right? So whether that's helping them to design, to build their bill of materials, helping them with project registration so that they can get the very best pricing, extending, credit terms to them so that they have 60 days to pay, for example, for their system as they're waiting for their end user to pay them. That's all value that distribution provides, and having it on the shelf to ship it to them quickly is certainly important. But the big thing for us is that's what distribution has traditionally done, right? I mean, I should say we could hope that most distribution is providing assistance with bill of materials, maybe answering some technical questions, certainly extending credit. I think that for us, the big differentiator is where we go a little bit further and we do that branding for them. That's something that we're able to do quickly for them because we have the inventory on the shelf. So if they're needing equipment, again, the product is available. We can provide them with support. We can provide them with extended payment terms and access to credit. And then we can put their brand front and center where it belongs. And I think that's really where we shine and provide value to our partners.
That is awesome. And how do some of these installation partners who might not be doing business with you guys get a hold of you guys?
Yeah, so I mean, you give us a call. Obviously, that's always a great option. I guess will we post contact information here on the podcast?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll make sure that's in the description for sure.
So call the number in the description, hit the link there to go to our website. seek me out on LinkedIn. Happy to connect with you on LinkedIn. I'd love to do that.
Jake is very good at marketing himself on LinkedIn. Definitely go out and check that out.
Thanks, Brock. I appreciate that. And, join our Facebook group too. We run burglar alarms online. It's the alarm industry's most active Facebook group. We'd love to have you in there too. There's a lot of folks in there that do PDK and can answer questions. One of the reasons that we picked up PDK as a line was in that group feedback. I was asking dealers like, hey, like, what do you like? And people were just saying overwhelmingly, PDK is awesome. Their support is great. And I'm like, you know what? We've got to hook up with these guys. I'm glad we did. And since then, we've really just, that has come to be true, right? So like all those folks saying PDK was awesome and the support is great, the proof is there. And so we appreciate the partnership.
That's awesome. We really appreciate the partnership as well. Well, anyways, Jake, that is all the time that we've got for today, but thank you so much for jumping on. You have been a fantastic partner, and we really look forward to continuing that partnership with you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Brock.
You bet. For those of you guys who are listening, be sure to subscribe to this podcast, give it a 5-star rating, and then also make sure you let us know if there's anything educational that you guys are looking to learn, and we'll be sure to add that to an upcoming episode. But thank you guys so much for attending, and we will go ahead and see you guys later. Bye-bye.